Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In this video, we're going to be exploring the possibility that Potions Professor Severus Snape never actually died. We see what we believe to be Snape dying in the Deathly Hallows, after Voldemort thinks that he needs to kill Snape in order to become the true owner of the Elder Wand. We of course later find out that Snape died in vain, as he was never the true owner of the Elder Wand at all, and was unnecessarily killed by Voldemort. However, what was always interesting about Voldemort killing Snape was that he didn't do it himself. He used Nagini. Why doesn't it work for me, Severus? In the silence, Harry imagined he could hear the snake hissing slightly as it coiled and uncoiled. Or was it Voldemort's sibilant sigh lingering on the air? My lord? Said Snape blankly. I do not understand. You have performed extraordinary magic with that wand. No, said Voldemort. I've performed my usual magic. I am extraordinary. But this wand? No. It has not revealed the wonders it has promised. I feel no difference between this wand and the one I procured from Ollivander all those years ago. The Elder Wand cannot serve me properly, Severus, because I am not its true master. The Elder Wand belongs to the wizard who killed its last owner. You killed Albus Dumbledore. While you live, Severus, the Elder Wand cannot truly be mine. My lord, Snape protested, raising his wand. It cannot be any other way, said Voldemort. I must master the wand, Severus. Master the wand, and I master Potter at last. And Voldemort swiped the air with the Elder Wand. It did nothing to Snape, who for a split second seemed to think he had been reprieved. But then Voldemort's intention became clear. The snake's cage was rolling through the air, and before Snape could do anything more than yell, it had encased him, head and shoulders, and Voldemort spoke in Parseltongue. Kill. There was a terrible scream. Harry saw Snape's face losing the little color it had left. It whitened as his black eyes widened, as the snake's fangs pierced his neck, as he failed to push the enchanted cage off himself, as his knees gave away and he fell to the floor. Nagini killing Snape, rather than Voldemort using Avada Kedavra, which would surely end his life, does actually leave the door open a little bit, particularly as it's supposedly Nagini's venom that ends up bringing Snape to his inevitable demise. He did not know why he was doing it, why he was approaching the dying man. He did not know what he felt as he saw Snape's white face and the fingers trying to staunch the bloody wound at his neck. Harry took off the invisibility cloak and looked down upon the man he hated, whose widening black eyes found Harry as he cried to speak. Harry bent over him, and Snape seized the front of his robes and pulled him close. A terrible rasping, gurgling noise issued from Snape's throat. Take it. Take it. Something more than blood was leaking from Snape, silvery blue, neither gas nor liquid. It gushed from his mouth and his ears and his eyes, and Harry knew what it was, but did not know what to do. A flask, conjured from thin air, was thrust into his shaking hand by Hermione. Harry lifted the silvery substance into it with his wand. When the flask was full to the brim, and Snape looked as though there was no blood left in him, his grip on Harry's robe slackened. Look at me, he whispered. The green eyes found the black, but after a second, something in the depths of the dark pair seemed to vanish, leaving them fixed, blank, and empty. The hand holding Harry thudded to the floor, and Snape moved no more. The above passage suggests that Snape died, but at the beginning of the next chapter, we should take note of the fact that Harry gets distracted almost immediately after Snape's demise. Harry remained kneeling at Snape's side, simply staring down at him, until quite suddenly a high, cold voice spoke so close to them that Harry jumped on his feet, the flask gripped tightly in his hands, thinking that Voldemort had re-entered the room. There are a couple of things that support the fact that Snape may not have actually died. First of all, Harry didn't really stick around to make sure that Snape had actually died. It looked that way, but this is a magical world after all, and I think that it's definitely within the realm of possibility for him to have survived. Additionally, Snape's corpse was never found or mentioned. After the Battle of Hogwarts, all of the bodies were accounted for, even the bodies of Death Eaters. Harry sees the corpses of people that he knows and loves, Lupin, Fred, etc., and provided that Harry knew of Snape's sacrifice, it's reasonable to assume that they would search for his body as well. Snape was bitten by Nagini, and presumably died from Snake's venom, but one glaringly obvious issue with this is that Snape was a potions master. The likelihood that Snape wouldn't know of or carry an anti-venom is highly unlikely, particularly as he was playing the dangerous role of a spy in the Wizarding War. Snape was a smart man, and he would have likely been prepared for any eventuality, Nagini biting him included. So how does that explain Snape's lifeless body? There's always a possibility that the venom only paralyzed him and placed him into a comatose state. There's plenty of snake venom out there that does just this, and this comatose state could have easily been confused as Snape dying. Harry never really examined Snape after he died, so if Snape had taken an antivenom before being bitten, it may have just taken some time for the effects to kick in. I don't think that Snape bled out either, as he had even invented his own counter-curse that could stop blood from flowing from the body, Vulnera Sedentur. Another thing that could potentially support the argument that Snape never died is the fact that Harry never saw him in the Forbidden Forest. When Harry produces the Resurrection Stone, he sees the shades of his father, Sirius, Lupin, and his mother. All of these people were massively important in Harry's life. They were neither ghost nor truly flesh, he could see that. They resembled most closely the riddle that had escaped from the diary so long ago, and he had been memory made nearly solid. Less substantial than living bodies, but much more than ghosts. They moved toward him, and on each face there was the same loving smile. The fact that Snape wasn't there could work either for or against the argument that he never died. Here's why. First, it's important to note that the stone shows you your loved ones, and people who are massively important to you. Given that at this point, Harry was aware of all of the sacrifices that Snape had made, you'd expect that he would show up along with the other shades. Snape had protected Harry for years, and even died with the ultimate goal of saving him, so you'd expect to see Snape, wouldn't you? The issue with this is that Snape is just not on the same level as his parents, Sirius and Lupin. Snape made huge sacrifices for Harry, yes, but Harry wasn't aware of them until very close to the time that he presented the stone. His feelings for Snape were still settling in, as he'd only recently had a change of heart about the man who tormented him for much of his youth. Additionally, the stone was meant to bring back the people that Harry never got a chance to say goodbye to, and with Snape, he did get this opportunity. I know that in the epilogue, Harry references Snape when he says to Albus Severus, "You were named for 2 headmasters of Hogwarts. One of them was a Slytherin, and he was probably the bravest man I ever knew." And I know that "knew" sort of suggests that perhaps Snape might have died, but it also might just mean that Harry hadn't seen Snape in a very long time. In closing, do I think that Snape is alive? Most likely not, but there is definitely an argument here for how and why he could be. What do you guys think? Is Snape still alive? I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Let us know down in the comment section below. Until next time, you're Wizard Harry.